Hi there, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today on Market Faith. We are always delighted to have you. Thank you for the opportunity to come to you and share with you thoughts that can help you, help your business, and help you grow, right? So now in this month, we've been talking about achieving financial freedom. We started out talking about what exactly financial freedom is. And then over the last two videos, I took out some time to talk about generating an income or generating income and growing your income. I want to really encourage you to go back and watch those videos on my YouTube page or on my Instagram page. Very enlightening, very helpful. Please go ahead and watch it. It will really help you because you will understand what exactly you need to do or what exactly you can do to grow your income as a business owner or as someone who works a 9 to 5. All right, so that's very crucial. I want to really encourage you to do that. Okay, so today we want to talk about managing your money, right? Managing your money. Listen, I'm going to share with you some of the things that have helped me, right? I really hope you find them helpful as well. But these are some of the things that have helped me in better managing money and all of that, right? And here's one thing I know. If you don't learn to manage your money, all your income generation efforts will be frustrating. I'll say that again. If you don't learn how to manage money, all your income generation efforts will be very frustrating. If you don't learn how to say no, if you don't learn how to better manage the funding that you have, right, all your income generation efforts will go down the drain. So I personally have just two laws when it comes to managing money. Listen, these two laws essentially help me significantly when it comes to managing money, right? Now, for many people, really, you don't need too much of a conversation around managing money. Most of you understand what to do. You probably just lack the willpower to do it and all of that, right? But I want to share with you today two things that have helped me personally in managing money, right? I hope you find them useful as well because I've found them extremely useful and they've been extremely helpful for me when it comes to managing money because, right, whatever income, managing money is like the engine room that determines what your income does, that determines where your income goes, right? Because you are either saving money, you are either spending money, right, or investing money, right? You are either saving it or saving to invest, or you are spending money, right? At the end of the day, nobody eats cash, right? So you are either using it to buy something else or you're using it to invest into your future. So there are two laws that have always helped me. The first law I want to talk about, all right, I'm going to explain the law and just talk about two things about each of those laws, and then we'll close today, right? The first law, right, is a law that can be found. I think it's Parkinson's law or something. I really don't know. I can't remember what exactly the law is, but which is the fact that expenses will always rise to meet your income, right? Expenses will always rise to meet your income. That's the first law. If you're a student of the Bible, it's also in the Bible. Ecclesiastes, I believe, is chapter 5, verse 11. When goods increase, they are increased that eat them. So when your income increases, the expenses that eat the income increases as well. What that means, the reason why that law is critical for me, right, is that in understanding that law, I understand that I must fight my expenses. All right. So when my income is increasing, my expenses try to increase as well. Your job is to fight the expense to ensure that it does not rise at the same pace that your income is increasing. And I'll explain that a bit more, right? So expenses will always rise to meet income. What that means is that your expenses are like the law of gravity. The law of gravity is a law, meaning that what goes up must come down. It's a law, meaning that whether you like it or not, whether you believe that that law exists or not, whatever goes up must what? Come down. It doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. It doesn't matter who likes you or who doesn't like you. Whatever goes up at the end of the day will come down, right? So there is something called the law of gravity, okay? And then with the law of gravity, to get what you want, even though there there is a law of gravity that exists, which forces everything that goes up to come down, there is also a higher law called the law of lift. Now, please follow me with this explanation, because this is what this explanation was how I understood it, and it helped me so much, right? There is a law of gravity, which is whatever goes up needs to come down. There is a law of lift that suspends the law of gravity so that lift can happen. Now, here's the interesting thing. Whenever the law of lift is in motion, it only suspends the law of gravity for a short period of time. It does not eliminate the law of gravity. Meaning that whenever you switch off the law of lift, the law of gravity takes over automatically. Whenever you switch off your engines of your plane in the air, then the law of gravity affects it and it starts to come down. Why am I saying this to you? In your finances, whenever you switch off the engine of controlling your expenses, it will always rise. Please listen to me. Expenses are like the law of gravity. They are always looking to go up. They are always, whatever goes up must come down. So expenses are always looking to rise until you switch off that, until you apply the law of pressure, right, or management on your expenses, it will not go down. So you need to push it down with the law of management. Now, whenever you turn off the law of management, expenses will always go up. Why am I saying this to you, right? So it is important that you realize that fighting your expenses and fighting your spending is a battle you will be involved in for a long time. Brace yourself for it. Put yourself in the mental frame to fight that battle over the long haul, because your expenses will always be looking for a way to overthrow your income, and you have to refuse it. You have to stop it from happening. Okay, one of the biggest way, which is the second thing I want to say about this law, right, is the fact that you need to learn how to say no to everyone, including yourself. Listen, and if you listen, I've always found that if you are able to say no to yourself, it's easier to say no to other people. You'll find it more difficult to say no to other people, because to yourself you don't even say no enough, right? You need to learn to say no, right? It doesn't kill you, but it will save you a whole lot in the future. Okay, sometimes when I'm, liaising with people and talking to people, and somebody says, how about, why are you making such a fuss about it? It's just 5,000 naira, or it's just 10 pounds, or it's just 20 pounds. My response is always the same. Little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. If I count how many times you have said it is just 5,000, or it is just 10 pounds, or it is just $100, right? If I count how many times you said that alone this year, some of you will probably have more significant money today than you would have before. I'm not necessarily teaching frugality, even though that may be needed for a lot of you. But the point is this: it is a mindset, right? It is a mindset that you understand that you don't always have to spend, especially if you are in a state where you have a lot ahead of you, right? I know someone who, the earlier years of their working years, they really didn't make the best of the wisest decisions that they could have made. So what has happened is that they have gotten into midlife, and they're in a stage where, some of the things that they should have been able to afford when they were 25, 30 years old, 35, they probably were not able to afford it. Now they are 45 and things like that, and they are having to be frugal, because even though they are making a lot of money, because they did not spend time doing the things they needed to do to build their wealth over time, now they are needing to take out that time to really save and really invest for the future. Okay, so expenses are like this, they're always going up. You need a bigger law to push it down. Whenever you switch off that law, expenses will keep going, right? Because somebody says, oh, but I tried last month, I did a lot, and I kept my expenses down. But what happened this month? Because you took your eyes off the ball, it kept on going. So learning to say no, right? And in this model, right, there are several ways you can try, several strategies, right? Grant Cardone always says he doesn't have cash on him. He never keeps money. He is never liquid, right? That's a strategy, meaning that you don't want to spend the money because it's the money that you have that you can spend, right? But if you don't have the cash, then you're not going to spend it because it's already invested, and you're not going to go and break down that illiquid, or you're not going to go and liquidate that investment so that you can make this happen. All right. So the first law is this: expenses will always rise up to meet income. You need to fight it, and it is a battle that you will fight probably till Jesus comes back. All right, depending on where you are, depending on what you're doing in business. So what I have done personally, and the way this has helped me, is that up front, I have told myself that over the next 5 years, over the next 7 years, over the next 10 years, this is a battle I will keep fighting. So, you know, there's a way that your mind can feel like, you know what, one day this will end. But when you know that, listen, we are in this thing for the long haul, right? Your expectation is better managed and you don't, you know, fall into certain traps. The second law, right? The second law is this: any money without an assignment is wasted. I'll say that again. Any money without an assignment is what? Is wasted. I know that is not true in 100% of the cases, but I like to think that it is, so that it helps me manage my situation. Any money that doesn't have an assignment before it arrives is most likely going to go to another assignment that you did not plan. So you always need to plan your money before it shows up. One of the best ways to do that is to have a project that you are doing every single time. So for example, let's assume that you have rent due that you have to pay ASAP. Chances are that you will not go to a club. Chances are that you will not indulge in certain spending that will not add to that. All your mind is focused on paying this rent. All your mind is focused on paying this school fees and getting out of it. Why? Because that money that you probably were not even expecting, but because there was an assignment waiting for that money to do, that money went straight into the assignment. If you have God forbid, you have a child that is sick in the hospital, right? You are not thinking about, you know, living and enjoying your life and all of that. You are most likely thinking about that child, and you're thinking about, look, any small money I get, even if it is that 5,000, even if it is that 10 pounds, even if it's that 100 pounds or $100 that you said, oh, what is this? It's not just 5,000. Everything, you channel it there. Why? Because that money has an assignment waiting for it to be done. So what you need to do, right, and we'll talk about this next week, the kind of assignments that you can give your money. And those assignments are what I call investment opportunities. How do you invest your money to ensure that your money has an assignment before it shows up, right? So the money is a mindset. Money is a mindset. You should always have your mind set on the assignments that you're going to give your money before it shows up. Otherwise, you are going to spend it, right? In fact, I don't really give people ideas as to what to do to manage their money because everybody knows what to do. The challenge most times is that there is no motivation to do what they know. I'll say that again. Very few people need ideas on how to manage their money. The problem most times is that they are not motivated. So when you have an assignment for your money, you have created motivation for you to save money. Right now, I have so many things that I'm doing with money that any small change that I see like this, right, it is going somewhere, right? And where it is going is somewhere that has been planned for a very long time. So why am I saying this to you? When it comes to managing money, you must understand this principle, right? Money that doesn't have an assignment will do anything. It will go anywhere, right? And you will not know where the money went to, right? In fact, one of the mindsets, listen, money is a mindset. I'm telling you the truth. Money is a mindset, because one of the reasons why people spend a lot is because there's just this mindset that, look, the money is available or the money will be available. It's just a mindset that you need to work on, right? You know, someone on our team was asking me a question the other day around what can be done to better manage money. And you know what I said? I said, look, if you have ever tried different money management tactics and none of them have worked, the problem is not with the tactics. The problem is with your mindset. Give me a moment and I'll explain. If you've tried several things, you've tried budgeting, it didn't work. You've tried, any other money management tool or structure, and it did not work. The problem is not that that thing doesn't work. The problem is that you haven't dealt with the mindset. In other words, I'll put it to you differently. Every time you see somebody who is trying something and that person is putting in external effort to make that thing work, but that thing does not seem to be budging, then it is not necessarily about what the person is doing. It is the mindset that the person has. Let me give you an example. The reason why many people are not able to lose weight, even though they go to the gym at the beginning of the year, is because they've not dealt with a fundamental mental problem around the way they see what they eat and the exercises they do. And because they haven't changed their mind, they can do external things to take them away from food, but they will go back to it. So they will tie their stomach, they will do all sorts of things, but none of those things work. Why? The reason is because if you still see food as something that is a must, as something that you must enjoy, as something that you must eat and enjoy life, listen to me, it is very difficult for that kind of person to lose weight. Not because they will not go to the gym, but every time they go to the gym, they will go back home and immediately eat the calories that will fill up the body again. Haven't you seen people who go to the gym and immediately they get back from the gym, because they are feeling so good with themselves, they want to reward themselves for the gym that they went to. So they go and have a chocolate bar. And in having that, they have just put back everything they've gone to exercise in the gym. Why am I saying this to you, and how does it relate to money? Whenever you see someone who keeps falling into the same money management trap, the person first of all needs to deal with the mindset in terms of how they see money. I've seen people who say, look, money is for spending. Money is for spending. In fact, some of the things they say in our parlance is wahala for who knows sabi spend money. In other words, the person that doesn't know how to spend money, that's their problem, right? When you have that type of mindset, no money management tool can work for you. The first thing you need to do is to deal with the mindset. How do you deal with the mindset? Take out time by yourself and get to a place where mentally that thing has no power over you anymore, right? The reason why people still go into pornography, even though they've tried everything to get away from it, is because in their mind still creates an image of enjoyment for that particular thing. As long as that enjoyment is there and your mind goes, whenever you think enjoyment, you think pornography. As long as that is the case, it will be difficult to break it. So what am I saying to you today? If you want to lose weight, start by focusing on the way you think about food. If you want to better manage money, start by thinking through, how do you think about money? Do you think that you should always buy food outside and not cook? Do you see food cooking at home as stressful? Do you see spending money as something that is necessary? Or do you see spending money as something that, some people, I know people who cannot go leave their house in the morning with 5,000 and come back with that 5,000. They must spend it. They must see somebody to tip. They must see somebody to give something. They must buy something. Listen, I'm not like that. I mean, I probably used to be, but there are days that I will go, a couple of days, and the money I started the week with, by the middle of the week, I still have it. Sometimes towards the end of the week, I still have that money, right? In terms of cash with me, because I've realized that I don't always have to spend. Whenever you think you always have to spend, managing money will be very, very difficult. So here's my encouragement to you as I close. Focus on the way you are thinking about this money. If you think that, listen, if you are always broke by the middle of the month, then there is a problem. If you are always broke by the first week, the second week of the month, there is a problem, right? You need to rethink the way you think about money, and subsequently, the way you respond to spending money will follow your thinking. But if you have not dealt with it in your mind, whatever you do on the outside is only temporary, and it will always come back to haunt you. Whenever people used to say that first within, then without, it took me a while to understand, but now I understand it very well. That until the mindset about that thing has been dealt with, that thing will always keep coming back and rearing its ugly head in your life. Hey, I hope that has been helpful for you today. Thank you so much for joining me today on Market Faith. God bless you, all right? Please don't forget to leave me a comment in the comment section, right? Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and tell someone about this. God bless you. I'll see you next time.